What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? This is I, James, Redemption Agency.com. 23 years selling full-time on eBay. We got the baby girl, and I'm about to have a mess here, so I've got to go down here really easy and get this trading card box before it dumps all of them out. How come nobody's bought any trading cards in a while? This one's, remember Marcus from Dixon's Pickens, who's no longer around? This one was inspired by him, the bin thrifter. Got Marcus right there on the front with all the Goodwill bins in the background. Have you got this card yet? Because I got a lot of them. Come and get your card. Click the links below. Let me put that someplace where it's not going to fall over. Get your trading cards. And then I can make some more. All right. Well, it's Monday morning. Interesting weekend, I guess. You could say, all around. Did something I normally don't do by looking at somebody's store, and you guys, several of you reacted back and wanted me to do your store. How much do you charge, all this and that? I don't know. I'd have to know more information to really dig into somebody's store. If enough of you like the idea, I don't know, I'd really need to see more. It would take time, so I definitely wouldn't do it for free. Like I'd want to see your numbers, your percentage side and everything. That's the problem. Like I'd want to get into your account, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. Let me think about it. To get it, because if I'm going to do something, it's got to serve a purpose. I mean, a good purpose, not the, oh, well, you're selling the wrong things. No, it's got to do more than just, it's got to do a hell of a lot more than that. That's just someone robbing you, taking your money. So, I don't know. I'd have to give it a lot of thought and see, is there a way to do it? Questions I would need, parameters that I would set. Yeah, I would take some thinking. So I don't know. Anyway, let's get to what we're going to look at. Yesterday's numbers. We're going to look at the week's numbers. See what I did all week. We had those 4 days that were just pure rubbish on eBay when they updated their site last weekend, and it just killed it for the first 4 days of the week. So that took a huge chunk out of the week. What did yesterday do? Yesterday on the clothing store, Sunday the 13th. Hey, this serves two purposes. Not only does it cover up the 5 head, but it holds my glasses on, because they've been falling off when I go looking down lately. Nice and snug now. All right, so the clothing store. $499. So right at that $500 mark. Close all these windows. And the media store. I'm going to look at YouTube today too, questions and comments. So I don't have too much to ship out here this morning. So there's been a lot of activity on YouTube. So no international yesterday. For on international websites, it is. And $470. So close to the $500 mark. So yesterday, Sunday, we ended up having a $968 day. So there you go. So it was $1,000 average weekend for Saturday and Sunday, at least. I don't remember what Friday was, but because it was 1,100, I believe, Saturday. But I only make 20% of that. That's not my quote. That's not facts. That's just trolls. You know, they're trolls when I show the numbers on screen. I tell many times what percentage I make. Nope, not 20%. Not 20%. All right. Let's do the week. So 4/7 through 4/23. On the media store. Start there. $2,914. Down 17%. Expected with those 4 days that were trashed. Net sales are up because the $300 was taken out last week for the store fee. So that's up, of course. 252 items sold. That's down 12% basically. $11.56 per item. But per order, we have 171 buyers. So we got $17.04 per order. Top 5 items over here. Holiday collectibles coming in at $55, and that's, I think, just going to be this one item right here. That's definitely not a good week when this store, a one item category that's not $100 plus, comes into the top 5. That's not pretty. Number 4, DVDs and Blu-rays, $187. That's up 6.3%. Number 3 is cassette tapes, $614. That's up 17%. Number 2, vinyl records, $685, up 46%. Number 1, CDs, of course, $958, down 32.5%. So didn't hit that $1,000 mark on anything over here because of the crappy week. Clothing store. Huh. Oh, wow. So this was 2,914. 2,941, technically 42, but I just got a kick out of the 1 and 4 being inverted. So 2,942. 0.97. So that's $2,942. That's up 0.1%. So basically even over here from the week before. And that's what I was talking about. The old account, the big store, it's affected more by these problems, at least this past week. That account was affected a lot more than this account was with all the problems that were going on. 147 items sold over here. That's down 6.4%. $20 average price per item. 136 buyers, so it'd be a little bit higher for orders. Top 5 items. Coming in at number 4, we got action figure toys, $151. That's down 14%. Number 4 is boys shoes, $152. That's up 254%. Number 3 is t-shirts. T-shirts dropped. It's dropping. It has been, I think, for the last couple of weeks. $223. That's up 4.2%. because I haven't put many t-shirts up. So number 2, Major League Baseball, 'tis the season, $249. That's up 14.4%. And of course, number 1, hats, men's hats, $998, up 15%. Still another category, top category, that did not hit the $1,000 mark this week. So, no $1,000 categories this week. Boo. Boo. Boo ho. So total for the week is $5,856 for the week. So there we go. All crap items. All items that you shouldn't sell because they're low sell-through rate. And my sarcastic remarks there is going to lead me over into YouTube, because that's what YouTube is a cesspool of negativity, a cesspool of ego. Gotta love it. So if you the big stinker this week in the resale world was, or this weekend I should say, let me see how much attention it's got. From an attention standpoint, the dude did good. But beyond that, that's another story. So we're talking about the Pegasus Lounge dude who went after tech this weekend. So he's got 2.1 thousand views on this video now. Let's see, it's probably his biggest video.
There are tons of
This guy just, he's just full of hot air. Now the one with Lindsay got 4.3. Daily Refinement's got 1.9. So he's using, all these bigger names to try to grow his channel. So I left a comment on it yesterday. He hasn't responded to that yet. But this pretty much sums up watching the video for me, is what I typed here, because this dude is just, look, I'm not, tech is the almighty, because I saw things on Tech Store that, he shared, but if you did the math, you could see it. Like I said, it's easy to spend, it's easy to make $1 million when you spend $999,000. The thing I always got with Tech Store is, and I'm going to put him down because he did volume, but when you pay $4 per item, you're doing 250 items a day. Do the math there. And then you see all the discounts he was given on the sales, because when you go into the sold, you weren't getting the real numbers that they were selling for. As you've seen on my account, I go, they didn't sell for this, it sold for lower because I took an offer, blah, blah, blah. He took a lot of offers, and he put a lot of sale coupons on. The sale coupons don't show up over there either. So I would be surprised if he was getting an average price sold of $6, honestly. So if he's only making $2 per item, but, like I said, he's selling 250 a day or whatever, 200 a day. That's $400 or $500. You get 250. The math didn't add up right for me, but again, I didn't have all the information. Just saying, just putting it out there. But for me, in my experience, it wasn't mighty guru money. Truth be told, it just wasn't. When you see what he's paying plus what he was selling it for, it's not guru money. But this dude, this Pegasus Lounge dude, this dude is just hot air. He likes to make himself sound like he knows what he's talking about, when in reality he don't. He thinks that the only way to really resell is to have an item and have thousands of that one particular item. Like, for some reason, he can't comprehend that reselling is the buying of a product and selling it. Period. End of story. That is reselling. So it's the ego thing. It's the high almighty thing. Or just trying to falsify or create that for YouTube growth, whichever the case may be. I don't know the dude, so I can't really say. I'm just saying it's not authentic feeling. It's full of shit feeling and very closed-minded feeling. So my comment on it was, you question one listing $120 a day, because you kind of said that there's no way you could list $120 a day per se. He didn't exactly say it like that, but that's the gist of it. Then I put, you may not want to see what I can do then. Many of the things you called tech out for, you have done the same in this very video, which he did. And that's meaning he just fluffed it up. He fluffs it up, only he tries to use several syllable words to do it, to try to make himself look like he's more intelligent, maybe. Or it's just a lot of fluff. So he was doing the same thing. Like, tech will talk something that doesn't really, that there's an easier way of saying it. And I feel it's just done in a way just to draw it out. I mean, YouTube revenue, you want the longer video, the people to stick around. So you tell the stories. That draws the time out, that gets people into your videos. That's just simple math. But he was doing the same thing here when it comes to just constructing things that, constructing sentences that could be a lot shorter. He just overdid it, a lot of fluff. Self-evaluation and understanding the hows of others are more productive than a form of calling out others with lack of knowledge and know-how. And he clearly lacks the knowledge and know-how. And it's evident in this video, because if you're questioning whether somebody can list 120 a day, then obviously you don't have the know-how to understand how that can be done, and can be done quite easily. I could knock that out before noon today if I wanted to. So, and then I put, well, unless your sole goal is to benefit from negativity to grow a YouTube channel. In that case, you have done an okay job by using names bigger than yours, but I would recommend dropping the fake sounding laugh, because that part feels like bad acting. And that laugh, it reminds me of the Tucker Carlson laugh. When I hear fake laugh, you lost me. I'm done with you type of thing. I don't go for the fake BS. So, yes, tech stretches words and stories to fill YouTube minutes, and maybe to fit a persona of monetary purpose, getting people to join his money-making thing. But your choice of over vocabulary also feels it's done for the very same reasons. As I said before, he adds a lot of fluff to his comment to pad an ego, to build a persona, whatever the case may be. The difference is one does it in hopes of positive effects, while the other does the opposite. I'll let you figure out which is which. So, like I said, tech does it in hopes of helping people, where this guy feels like he's doing it for the negativity, for the views, and what have you. So that was my gist of it, and I'll be done with it. The dude, like I said, I'm no tech in sports bandwagon person. Like, maybe Josh is probably more one than, because he actually comes out and talks about it, but not in a negative way. I don't mean that in a negative way, but I'm nowhere near that, because I got questions. How about that? I got questions. But this dude is just pure, he does it kind of like the Heckin' Steve does. And I think somebody mentioned that this morning. I kind of looked over the comments but didn't read them fully. That's all they do. They pick the big resellers out they target them in hopes that it'll build their channel. Because here's the thing, when you're big on YouTube, sure, you're going to have a lot of positive people. You're going to have a lot of followers. You're going to have a lot of this and that. But you're also going to have a lot of ignorance, like the person who commented on mine yesterday. You're going to have a lot of people who just are angry people. They're miserable people. They're upset people. And they'll look at anybody succeeding and put them down because they're not there. They're not doing it. You hear people talk about this all the time if you listen to like interviews with anybody who's done anything in life, whether that's a scientist to a movie star, whatever the case may be. People who have no ambition or just suck at life beyond, like, I don't just suck at life. They take their anger and their misplacement, whatever, their laziness, their whatever, out on others who actually do something to create something. So for every successful reseller YouTube channel, you're going to have a good percentage of negative naysayers who are just too lazy to watch the videos, just too miserable to believe anything that's being said, et cetera, et cetera. Those people are going to latch on to those other two channels. They're just going to be like, and they're going to be all over it. And those are the people, as you know, 80% of unhappy people on eBay will leave negative feedback and or contact you, where positive, only 25% do. So 30%. So you have, and actually it falls into everything that's going on in society today. The people who are naysayers, negatives, and haters, they are a lot louder. Even though they're a lot smaller, they're a lot louder. And so they will blow up a channel faster than somebody who's supporting you. I could get all the negative people to thumbs down a video before, how about this? I could get 80% of the same percentage. I could get 80% of the people who hate me to thumbs down my video than I could getting over 25, 30% of the people who support me to thumbs it up. So think about that. So if you get that 80% who would thumbs down this video to thumbs up, or it doesn't matter, the activity's activity, but to not just thumbs up, but to actually comment and get involved. Yeah, this sucks, blah, blah. You know message boards, you've seen it all before. It festers and it grows and it will blow up a channel. If you want to live in that headspace, in that negative world, it's a smart way to build a channel. It is, honestly. But is it worth being miserable every single day? Is it worth trying to put people down because you're not adequate enough? For me, no. I was negative about things and things I looked at in the past, and I wasn't in the best headspace doing it. And so that's just kind of an example. When you're not in a good headspace, negative festers negative, and misery loves company. And it's a good way to build a platform if you can act or just be negative. Like I could build a channel right now and act like I hate the world, and it wouldn't bother me because I'm in a good headspace. But the problem is doing that, the moment that something did happen, say Courtney died tomorrow, then guess what? That negative acting turns into negative, and it'll start festering in me. So is it worth that? Yeah, not really. Not for me. You may see me I've been thinking lately, different video ideas and stuff, and been coming up with like ideas. Well, maybe I should act like this person acts just for a spoof video. I'm like, that's too much work. It's not authentic, and it's too much work. I ain't gonna mess with it. So I can't even just do one video where I'm trying to act like something that I'm not, because it's just not my headspace. So, but if you got the acting skills and or the misery, it's a good way to build a channel. And then some of you guys responded to that video on my channel when I made a post about it, but not really naming who it was. This guy is ridiculous. He offers no real value on that video, and his other videos are very basic ideas and thoughts. He messed up by critiquing tech. Only in the sense because there's so many people that follow tech, and I'm trying to find a word other than like worship, but just tons of supporters and followers just who will probably go after that person. So. But I've gone after him in the past, so I'm not going after him because of the tech thing. I mean, I made a video on him in the past when I don't even remember now who he went after and called out. And I kind of stepped in there. I don't remember who it was now, but so he's been on my radar for a few months since my one video that I made about him. Thing is, James, he has had the same message, which I told you and Josh and John. He thinks that reselling we do used items and even new items from return pallets is not real reselling. He thinks the only reselling is creating a brand, i.e. private label. He thinks that he is the true and only type of reselling. Yeah, and he don't even show or tell that I know of what he does. So he could just be a phony and a fake for all I know. And he keeps throwing those words out there that private labeler, right? But what does that mean? You just created a store with a name and you're buying China crap and selling it? You know, what does that mean? For me, a private labeler is like I can't, most of you don't know what Schnucks is, but like if you have a local grocer who will buy ketchup from Heinz, but put their own label on it. I bet you didn't know a lot of the private labels in grocery stores and little stores. It's the same stuff coming from name brand stuff. They just have their own label on it because they're a private labeler. So they're taking ketchup, they're taking mustard, they're taking barbecue sauce, whatever from another company who's branded and putting their label on it. But because brand labels and brands, that sells, that's big. People's going to buy a brand name ketchup. Certain people are going to buy a brand, like, depending on, I think ketchup's a bad one because there are people who will buy Heinz because it's Heinz, as opposed to a generic, because they may think it's watered down or whatever. Where with ketchup, I always grab the generic cheapest. So it's a bad example from my perspective on that one, but there's certain people who will buy a brand name. It's brand recognition, you know. So there's something to say for that. So, Miss Lachey, I guess he thinks someone who pretends to be an expert eBay seller while really selling on Amazon FBA is more believable. Sadly, just trying to use community to build a channel. So he sells on Amazon, I'm guessing? I don't know. As far as I don't watch his stuff, so I don't know. So, but yeah, he's using a community to build a channel just like the Heck and Steve character is. So, and they'll say, like, Heck and Steve will say, well, I'm just acting, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, negativity festers if you're not in the perfect headspace. And nobody's ever in the perfect headspace consistently. Something will affect you in a negative way, like I said, whether it's a death, you know, money issues, car breaks. I mean, anything can pop that off. And once you have one after another, and if you are acting in a negative headspace to bring in, it will fester within you. And so to say you're acting and that's your thing, I'm not a full believer in that, because there's too many things to be miserable about in life. There's too many things that can make you unhappy on any given day. And if you're in that headspace consistently, even if you're acting, it's going to roll over into real life. Do you think it's better to list a certain amount of listings a day or a certain dollar amount, James? Depends on what you're selling. If you're a, like, dollar amount for probably majority of the people. If you're a volume seller like me, I was doing both. I've done both. I've go, okay, if I want $1,000 a day, I want to list $3,000 worth of merchandise a day. So I've done that practice. But now I'm just like, you know what? I've got the stuff. Let's just try to list X amount a week, X amount a month, and go for the volume, because that's my game. My game is the volume game. I'm just fooling myself right now by caring about the dollar amounts, because I don't care right now. My goal is just to get stuff out of storage and into the store. So just go, go, go. If I was smart, I probably would stop and say, okay, my volume game is good right now. Let's change it up and let's just go for the high dollar stuff first and do that $3,000 pop per day type of thing. But if I can see, the way I look at it with the volume game is, even if I get $2,000 put up today, could be, that's just going to turn over tomorrow, next week, next Monday, next month, I should say, next year. I don't think of it as immediate because I don't need it immediate. If you need money immediate, that's probably the better way to go, the money way. If you're volume game and you don't need the money immediate, then just go with piece count and just and if you have the stuff, put it up. So it depends on what you're doing and what your ambition is, all that kind of stuff. So there's more to it. So I would just, choose based on, do you need the money now? Are you trying to build long-term? What are your goals? And how much stuff do you have? How much stuff can you get? Et cetera, et cetera. And are you wanting to play the volume game, or are you wanting to use just to make them big money? So darn, you have to buy more hat boxes. See, how much does it cost for a store review, and how do I get one? See, I was trying to be nice on that last one. Like, if I was doing it for people, I wouldn't be nice. I would just be truthful. I mean, I wouldn't be mean on purpose. I would just be truthful about it, and how that came out or how that would be taken may offend the person. And so you'd have to know what you're signing up for with me, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The other person didn't technically ask for it, so I tried to hold back. As you can probably tell in that video, I was holding back, and apologizing and stuff, where if I was doing that for somebody who asked, I would not apologize, and I would be just boom, 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 boom about things, not thinking about if it's going to hurt your feelings or not. So you'd have to ask yourself, could you handle that? You can't handle the truth. All right, let's get to work, get this stuff done so I can get back to drafting today and what have you. Let's knock out these few. Oh, where are we at this morning? So we're going on 10 a.m. We're at 9:45 right now. We've had some cha-chings. So looks like we're a little behind today. So we're at $65 on the clothing store. And I'm sure there was a shutdown last night. Let me go look at my email, because it's Sunday night and they usually do maintenance on Sunday nights. And we're only at $50 on the media store. So only $115 going on 10 o'clock. So definitely behind the 8 ball out the gate. And somebody closed out my Hotmail. Or had to restart the computer, so the Hotmail was never opened back up. One of the two. And I gotta wait for this to catch up. Okay. Oh, yawn. Let me get these. Your label already emails out of here because they're confusing me from shipping last night. So we got 2 items in the 11 o'clock hour that sold. Then we have 1 at midnight that sold. And then nothing else till 7 a.m. 7 a.m. one sold, 7:13 one sold. I took offers at 8:30. So midnight to 7 a.m. was the shutdown last night, about 7 hours. Three offers did come through during that time. Normally you don't see that. Especially, that was another thing that was messed up yesterday too, is offers after about 7 p.m. started airing out for me. So about 7, I think maybe it was later than 7. Maybe it was like 9. Because I came back in before I took the dogs out. So it might have been about 9 p.m. Central Time. When I went to try to accept offers, it wouldn't let me. It kept airing out. It took me like 6 times to finally get the one to work. So there was problems with offers. So I'm surprised 3 offers came through within those 7 hours. But that being said, only 4 came through from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. So only 4 offers came through in 11 hours. So all right. Okay. So I only got 2 items here to ship out on the clothing store. There's a few more, but those aren't due till today. But I didn't pull those. We got this John Deere women's John Deere hat sold for $10.50, headed to Blanchard, Michigan. And to kind of follow up on that, the negativity can build your YouTube channel and stuff. That's why I was for a while, and I may just do it on this one too, where I'll make a negative comment or the title and a negative-ish thumbnail just to make people click on the video. The normal people, they're not going to get upset. They're going to click on it anyway. But what I get a kick out of when I do that is the people who will comment in such a way like, I don't think I was negative in this video. I was just telling things like they are, like they are the way I see them. I'm not feeling negative. I'm happy and positive in my own head. So they will respond without watching the video and kind of just point fingers or whatever. Why are you being so negative? Blah, blah, blah. Well, if you watch the video, I technically wasn't negative. I just made the negative thumbnail and the negative thing. So it not only will make people, my normal viewers, you're going to watch it anyway. I get that. So I don't care if I offend somebody, because if I do, it's somebody who's not here all the time anyway. So who cares? But it will also bring those curiosity seekers who love to feed on negativity and make them click on it. And then you'll have the people who won't even watch, who will leave a negative comment. So technically using the negative is all positive, even though there was no negative really in the video. So that's how I kind of use it to my advantage without going into that headspace. Because I'm done with that headspace. I don't need that headspace no more. I'm in a happy place right now. So we got this Tom and Jerry tea sold for $10.50, headed to Austin, Texas. So yeah, I have been known to use the negative, at least the negative connotation. Is that the word? The negative viewpoint. Even though I wasn't making negative points. Well, guess you could say some of them were maybe negative, but I wasn't meaning for them to be. Well, I guess to the one guy I was. But to my advantage. So am I any better than them? Probably not. I'm not better than nobody else. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own thing. Everybody walks a different path. Like somebody made a comment on one of my Facebook posts yesterday. I didn't even read it all, but she said something about how she pities somebody, blah, blah, blah. And because my comment was, you never see, or my post was, you don't see people with ambition I gotta go read what it was because I can't remember what it was. I think I put it on YouTube also, didn't I? In the post section. Maybe I didn't. It was just like a comment that pops in my head, so I just type it. More of like when I do those kind of posts or those day-ons or night outs, they're more for me, like just my viewpoint or maybe something to motivate myself. And then if it helps somebody else, then bonus, right? What was it? I have never seen people with ambition put down the rich, experienced, or the well-educated. They look, listen, and learn. And somebody made a comment about pity, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I didn't read it. And how that she feels worse for people and worse for them or whatever. And my comment was simple. I never feel pity on anyone and believe everyone comes with a lesson. So when I say things like, I'm no better than anybody else. I just walk a different path. I've walked a different path. I live a different path. And I don't care who you are. I've slept with a homeless person on the street to living in an attic with no air or heat to being comfortable now. I've lived every aspect of this life. I lived a small part in every aspect of this life, except being like rich, being beyond where I am now, comfort level wise. So I don't hold somebody who has 3 mansions and a yacht higher than somebody who is, digging in trash cans. I don't. And I never will. To me, they're both human beings. They both have lessons to be taught. I'll listen to any of them. Because I'm not going there, and I'm not going there. I'm going wherever I want to go, and the more lessons I have is only going to help me on my journey. There's too many people these days who think you can lump people into groups. And that's dangerous for the person doing it. Because it says more about that person who's doing it than anybody else. It's showing closed-mindedness, which can show lack of ambition, can show lack of drive, can show, ignorance. It can show a lot of different scenarios depending on, again, where you're at in life. So it's just not a place that I prefer to live mentally. All right, first up over here, we got clips, 12-inch. Let's talk about it. Sold for $650, headed to Warwick, Rhode Island. But again, that being said, I am never against calling someone out, calling myself out for anything, no matter what, depending on what it is and what context it's being, presented in. Like, I'm always fully aware of trying to make sure I'm not hypocritical about something. It's not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just aware of trying not to be that person. And I want to be the first one to catch it if it does happen. Because then I'll be like, because for me, being hypocritical would be a learning point. Be like, okay, so I looked at it this way then. And of course, with this comment now, I'm looking at it a little bit differently. So let me reevaluate this and see why I did that. So for me, putting myself being, if I did that, I'm hoping to find it first so I can learn from it. As opposed to, a lot of, not a lot, but some of these reselling channels will trip over their own words a month later. And then that's when you question authenticity, or are they just putting on a show to get views, right? So I am not that guy, but I don't want to also be subconsciously that guy. Like, am I doing this and not even realizing it type of thing? Because one thing that I'm not book smart. I'm never going to. The only way I'm going to be book smart is putting a lot of hours into reading and learning, and I'm not a fan of reading. I like reading stuff like real life stuff, autobiographies, or things that really happened. But when it comes to knowledge and reading, I have a hard time learning that way. So for me, it feels like a waste of time. I'm more of a present it to me in a type of way I can understand. So I'm never going to be like, whoops, I forgot to pull that cassette. I'm never going to be this super intellectual person, right? But the one thing I can be is not be ignorant when it comes to what I'm talking about or what I'm dealing with. Like, if I want to know something, I'm not going to say just watch one news channel, right? Because they're biased. They've always been biased. Well, they've probably not always been biased, but for the most part, they've always been biased. And they're not telling the whole story. So if I want to know about something, or if I want to verbally talk about something, I'm going to do the research, do the reading, do the everything it takes to pull in that information, so I don't sound stupid, so I don't sound ignorant. I can control that. Either that, or I just don't talk about it, right? And that's been most of my life. I created James's World for a reason. I live here, and it's best lived on the edge of reality. I don't care what's going on around me. I really don't, for the most part. That's the way I've always lived. What matters is me, who's around me, and where the hell I'm going. That's all that freaking matters to me. Nothing else in this world matters to me unless I'm involved in it. And you know what? I come first. And if I'm not happy, or it's something that ain't going to make me happy, or it's not something I can do really anything about, then why freaking live there? I never cared about politicians. I never cared about who the president is. I never cared about the bullshit. Because you know what? The only thing I can do is vote. And I never did before. Because to me, it was all the same. So that was never even introduced into my world. It had nothing to do with it, because no matter who's out there in control or in charge or whatever you want to do, it's not stopping me from doing whatever the hell I'm doing. You can do whatever hell you want. You can put whatever roadblock you want in front of me. I'm going to find a way around it, through it, over it, under it, whatever the case may be. Because I'm not stopping being who I am and where the hell I'm going. And nobody's going to stop me unless they put a bullet in my head. So that's another thing that gets me these days, with people so riled up about who the president is. Who the fuck cares? You're using it as an excuse of your own existence. Why? They're not controlling you. I like history. I like looking back on things. I look back on the Biden era now, and I'm like, wow. Can you believe somebody that old and so out of it was, leader of the free world, right? I'm not one who's going to go, I'm looking at more in amazement, right? I want to learn, how did this happen? Wow. Give me more details on the back end of what goes on, right? Because I've always been a believer that the president's not calling all the shots anyway. The actual real stuff is happening beyond the president. President can't even touch stuff. If the president can't touch stuff, then the president ain't all that powerful. So when it comes to back end deep stuff, everything else is show. So I looked at that, and I don't look at it as like if I was one or the other. And you see the people who hated the Biden regime, whatever you want to call it, error, and think negatively about it. Did it change your life? Okay, something was higher. Guess what? Did you eat less and lose a little weight? That's not necessarily a bad thing in America 2025, right? There's ways around things that you don't like. There's other paths. Let me earn a little bit more money this time. Maybe that earning a little bit more money allows me to open up and find something that I actually love doing as opposed to something I don't. There's just so much opportunity in life, period, to let one person, one group of people, one faction, I don't know what you would call all this stuff, to slow you down, to stop you. That's just excuses of your own inabilities. I've been on this planet 53 years. I might be able to name a handful of the presidents, and none of them has ever stopped me from getting from where I started to where I am. Did any make it harder? Did any maybe make it harder? Maybe. But guess what? That's life. Life's not easy. Life's not fair. You get over it, you move the fuck on, and you do something. It's freaking simple math. Make yourself happy. Period. It's just, where am I going with all this? Where did I start with all this? I got this, I already packed these up. 40 CDs. So somebody came in and bought 40 CDs from me. Headed out to Augusta, Missouri. And sold for, I think it was $150, something like that. So yeah, got that going out. 10, 8, 6, 10, 8, 7. We'll do that. Like for me, people who cause a stink about anything in life, they're doing it for personal reasons and nothing more. They either A, want attention, or B, it's being used as an excuse for a lack of something. When you break everything down, be real with yourself and break it all the way down, that's what it comes out to. All right, we got the next vinyl piece here. So for $5, headed to Wilmette, Illinois. Everybody, every human, every creature on this planet has the instincts in them to survive. It's embedded within you as a wild creature. But the problem lies is when people can't get past society. They're using society to hold them back when in reality, society is benefiting you. No matter how bad you may think something is, or how good if you're good, it is benefiting you, but because you're not in a cave, you're not spending your day. Watch a squirrel. Watch a squirrel. Watch a bird. You know what they do all day? Look for food. Build shelter. You don't have that to worry about. So guess what? You can concentrate on other things. Things that birds can't even comprehend. Things that squirrels can't comprehend. Those are bonuses. That's a bonus to life. Society is a bonus to life. Figure it out. You look at people who in North Korea who struggle, but they have that sense to survive. They're either going to die trying, or they're going to escape, or they're just going to fall into the line and be this mindless zombie that nobody cares about. Guess what? Nobody cares about you here either. And I'm not talking about immediate family. I'm talking to anybody else other than people who care about you. Nobody else cares. The government's never going to care no matter who the president is. No mayor's going to care. No matter, you got to watch out for yourself. That primal instinct is in you. Use it. And stop using various things in society as excuses to stop you. I guess I got some clothes still left in this store. We got this Jones, New York sweater here. Sold for $18, headed to Chandler, Arizona. Must be in some random folder or something I didn't pick up on. I don't know how I got here talking like this. I don't remember what got me here. So if I was all over the place, I apologize, because I was not following what I was saying. I was just speaking. I was just going on and on and on. I was giving myself a motivational speech for the day. That's what I was doing. You guys are just, lucky enough to come along for the ride. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm freaking worked up. I'm ready to get to work. I worked myself up. Again, Most of the stuff I'm saying is for myself, my own self-interest, my own self-motivations, my own self. Get the hell moving. Get the lead out of your ass. Look at this, look at that, look at differently. That's why I come up with all these, just when something pops into my head that's like just a statement like the one I read you earlier, I put it out there because it's not necessarily for somebody. It's for me. It's me. Okay, where did this come from? What does it mean? Comprehend this thing. Is it something? Is it a negative viewpoint within me? Is it positive? Is it something that I don't know is there? Can I learn from something that just popped into my own head? Why is it there? I do stuff for me first, because if you cannot make yourself happy, you cannot make others happy. And that is a 100% fact. Before, when I was growing up, it used to be, I worry about me because if I'm not happy, you're not happy. Because, we were all ignorant at youth. I didn't care too much about anybody. I did, but I didn't. It was more, when it was about me, it was about me. Where now, I'm first, but I'm not the only. Does that make sense? Like, I care more about the people around me today than I did when I was 17. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it. And that's probably almost, I won't say everybody, it's probably a lot of people. When you're young and dumb, you do young, that's just young, dumb, ignorant, uneducated, you haven't lived life, inexperienced, all those words. Got another Hello Kitty missile. Sold for $40, headed to Kingsport, Tennessee. And there's nothing negative or wrong about it. You know what? We all live and learn. That's the beauty of life too. That's another beauty of life. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's different. Everybody is never at the same point at the same time. That's the beauty of it all. If you actually just stopped and people watched people, how they react instead of reacting to what they're doing. If you just, like, if you saw a conversation from a video on YouTube and people are going back and forth, instead of emotionally getting yourself involved, pull yourself back from it. Think, I don't care because I'm not there, but let me read this and look how it's playing out. And so the best way I could say is do like an out-of-body experience with it. It doesn't involve you. You don't care about it. Even if you do, remove yourself from it. It doesn't matter. And look at it from that standpoint. That's when you'll truly start really seeing things for what they are in life. The fact that, you know what, if somebody ain't in my face right now saying XYZ, because they're online saying it, doesn't mean a damn thing to me. It ain't hurting me. It ain't causing me anything. It has nothing to do with me. It's all that person. Because what comes out of your mouth has to do with you and you first, not anybody else, no matter what you say. So if you're attacking people, it's saying more about you than anybody else. Just as I said, when I make those comments for motivation, it's more about me than it is about anybody else. Because it came from me. It came from me for a reason. You either know that reason, or if you're like me, you try to figure out why that reason is. Or you just not care altogether. And that's the beauty of James's world. Sometimes I don't care. I don't need to care. Because I care. I care about what matters, not what doesn't matter. I'm not overly caring. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. I mean, if somebody's hurt in front of me, I'm going to care for them or try to care for them with what knowledge I may have to help. So I'm not saying I don't care, but if it doesn't involve me, I don't care. If it doesn't physically involve me, I don't care. And if it's 9 times out of 10, if it negatively involves me physically, I don't care. Like if somebody came to my face or somebody was road raging and cut me off, I'll look at him and be like, what a dumbass, but then I'm moving on. So I look at this whole James World concept I came up with as a kid. I used it to survive because the world around me didn't matter because that world was ugly. That world was dealing drugs, stealing, breaking into cars, homes. That was the world around me. That was not the world I wanted anything to do with. So I created my bubble, my world. So if I'm going down the highway driving today, I'm not driving in other people's world. Other people are living around me. And that's the way I kind of view it. So if somebody cuts me off or whatever, it has nothing to do with me. They're having a bad day, they're late for work, whatever the case may be. It is what it is, and oh well. That's just the way I kind of view it. Now, and I always have, but it feels good to get back there as an adult. Because at least now as an adult getting back there, I can look at it more productively, look at it more compassionately. Where before as a kid, it would be, you're interrupting my world if somebody cut me off. Where now, I'm just cruising through a world and this stuff's happening around me. All right, this is the last one. And you won't have to hear me talking anymore. 3. William. Oh, man. Don't do that, James. Oh, crap. That's an hour 8 for this many items. Whew. I talked way too much, didn't I? Good Lord. What's wrong with you, boy? What's wrong with you talking up a storm like that? You know what the funny thing is? I probably won't remember anything I've said in this video. Not because I don't mean it or believe it or whatever. It's because it's not fabricated and I don't have to remember it. Because if I found myself down the same road saying the same stuff, you're going to hear the same thing the same way. And or you're going to hear it in a more educational form, more educated form, as opposed to the story changed. Or the story changed with not knowing. Like, shit, I just goofed up here because I'm not paying attention. All right, names under here. So that goes there. All right, so I need to pull up Elizabeth and do another. Oh, I'll just reprint them all. It'll freaking be easier. Not like there's that many. Okay, so this was Lisa. So Elizabeth. Alrighty, Elizabeth. Wasteful. That's all right. One day of waste is okay. All right, I'm done. I got a big old carload to get to the post office, so I am out. All right, thanks, everybody. Oh, scan forms. I need scan forms. Generate 56 labels. Did we not print one up from yesterday? And did it actually go? It actually moved over from yesterday. Holy crap. eBay usually doesn't do that. Usually by 8 o'clock, everything vanishes. And then I'm like, crap, I didn't get to print a scan form. This one came, oh, it was the weekend, so that's why. That's why. There's only 2 there. Okay, that should be all right. All right. That is all. All right, thanks, everybody. I'll see you all in the next video. Later.